Hey, what's up you guys? It's Vicky Vice and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you've never been here before. I thank you guys so much for stopping by. So for today's video, I'm going to be talking about a subject that's really close to my heart, and it's because I have suffered from it for over 12 years, and that's endometriosis. So if you guys want to hear about my endometriosis story, about the symptoms and how I got through being diagnosed, make sure you stay tuned. Alrighty, so for those of you who don't know, endometriosis is a disorder where your uterine tissue grows outside of your uterus. So some of the symptoms of that are painful periods, pain with intercourse, pain with bowel movements and urination, excessive bleeding, infertility, and other symptoms which include fatigue, diarrhea, constipation, bloating, nausea, and especially during your menstrual periods. So not to be like too graphic, but those are symptoms of something that I have. So I want to start from the beginning and work my way forward and tell you what my story was. So if you're someone that is squeamish to talking about periods and just basic life things, you guys probably want to click out of this video. No hard feelings. This probably isn't for you if you have trouble hearing stuff like that. So for me personally, I started my period when I was 10 years old, which is super young to start your period. And I remember my first period being like, oh my gosh, I got my period. When does it stop? And my mom was like, girl, you're in for a rude awakening. And she has no idea how true that statement was. So my first period, I experienced pain and cramping, but I thought it was like a normal thing that like girls go through, and apparently it is, but just not to the severity that I had it. So it didn't start getting super severe until I was about 12 years old. I remember being in the 6th grade, 7th grade, and every single month having to go down to the nurse's office and be like I am in so much pain, my head is throbbing, I'm doubled over in pain, and I need pain medicine. And every single month I go down and the nurse would be like, oh, you're just doing this to get out of class, like you're not in that much pain. And I was like, no, like I feel like I'm dying, like it feels like someone is cutting my stomach open. And she'd be like, yeah, whatever, go back to class, like lay down for 10 minutes and go back to class. And so that was my school experience with periods, like just constantly having to go to the bathroom and not to be graphic, but change things, and just always being in pain, always having headaches, and my mom always knew when like I was going to be on my period, because I would have such severe mood swings and I'd be in pain, and it would be pain leading up to the period and then pain during the period and pain a couple days after. And so it was always this whole big thing around my period. And so I would always go to my doctor and be like, this hurts, like I'm in so much pain. And he'd be like, okay, well, try taking pain medicine, or, try this technique that will help you relax, or try drinking more water when you're about to start your period. And so I tried all these things and none of it worked. And so I'm about 15 years old now, and I was just in so much pain. Like I ended up missing school a lot, not just because of my endometriosis, but also because of my mental health, which I will probably talk about in another video. But I ended up missing a lot of school based on, just health reasons and issues surrounding my endometriosis. And so I talked to my doctor about this, and finally he was like, we're going to put you on a hormonal birth control. We're going to put you on something that will probably help it, that'll lighten up your periods and, all this stuff, because it was one of those, it was so bad that I would have to wear multiple overnight pads for like the daytime, and I'd have to switch them out, and I'd still be in pain, and I'd have migraines, and I'd get dizzy, and I wouldn't sleep for days, and I'd always have pain. And so he put me on this medicine, and I used it in combination with naproxen, which is just Advil or Aleve, it's one of the two. But I was put on a prescription strength pain medication, and I was put on birth control. And so that worked for about a year or two, and then I started getting really bad migraines, which also is a whole nother health issue in itself. Probably gonna end up doing a bunch of different videos just surrounding my health journey, because there are a lot of different health issues that I do have, unfortunately. So just focusing on the endometriosis though, I would have a bunch of migraines in combination with back pain, which ended up with cramps. And when I say cramps, I don't mean like your standard like cramps, because I've had standard cramps before, I know what those are like, but I'm talking about excruciating pain where I'm bawling my eyes out and I'm screaming in pain and retching on the floor. I'm like rolling around. I can't sleep. I have to sleep with a pillow pressed to my stomach, or I have to sleep with a pillow between my legs because there's so much pressure on my pelvis and my hips that it feels like my body is caving in. So he put me on a different birth control. They put me on NuvaRing, and that made my migraines even worse. And so my pediatrician, who was a man, ended up, saying, we should probably send you to a gynecologist. This is a little bit out of my area of expertise. I've done everything I can personally do for you. So I got recommended to a gynecologist, and I went to my first gynecologist when I was 17 years old, I think. And yeah, it's kind of young to be going to a gynecologist, but with all the different health issues that I had, it was basically the only option that I had. So I got recommended to a female GYN, and I was so excited because I thought, this woman's totally gonna get what I'm talking about. She's got a uterus, like she's gotta know about this stuff. And so I just assumed that, going to a woman would mean that I would get better health care for women's issues, which was completely the opposite of what happened, unfortunately. So I went to this woman, and I would go see her about 3 times a year, which is more than a lot of people see GYNs. And I would see her and I'd say, like, this hurts so bad, like I can't do all of these things, and now I'm starting to have back pain and pain shooting down my legs. I have problems when I go to the bathroom, like I have migraines all the time, and it was just, oh, everyone's got cramps. And I got so sick of hearing, oh, everyone's got cramps, because every single time I would tell her what I was feeling, that this is what my body is doing every single month. On the month, there's no time that I have any relief. She was just saying, oh, everyone has cramps. And I wish that she could have just seen how bad my just cramps were, because like my mom or my sister can tell you, I was immobilized for days surrounding my period, before my period, after my period. And then I think I was about 18, every single time that I had ovulation, pain would start. So the cycle of my ovulation was about 7 days, and then the time around my period was 7 days. So over half of the month I was in pain, and pain just related to my uterus, not even the other pain that I have. But again, that's the story for a whole nother day. I couldn't stand up. You would never see me without my heating pad or like a blanket. There was one last time where I was like, please, like, help me. I can't handle this anymore. Like, I feel like I'm dying all the time out of the month. And she just would not believe anything that I had to say. And it got to the point where I was like, well, maybe she is right. Maybe everyone does have cramps. Maybe I'm being dramatic about the whole thing. Maybe, this is just my lot in life. Maybe this is just the thing that I have to deal with, and I'm just being a huge baby. And my mom was like, do you see when your sister has her period and when other girls have their period? Are they in bed and are they suffering? Are they screaming in pain and unable to sleep and have to have pillows everywhere surrounding them? And I was like, well, no. And she was like, well, then it's not in your head. I just think that it's so bad that, healthcare is at a point where your concerns, your valid concerns, aren't taken seriously, where you're meant to feel like you're crazy if you have this pain that no one can see. And that's why it's called like an invisible illness, is because you can't physically see like my uterine lining growing outside of my body, but I can feel it, and you can see how much pain I'm in. But just because it doesn't show up doesn't mean that that it's not real. And I will say that during this time she did do a few tests. She did a external sonogram and an internal sonogram, and nothing showed up. And so I figured I'm crazy. And so it was just rough. But as time progressed, I just realized that I had to get out of there and away from that doctor's office and into a new doctor. And so I decided to go see the doctor that my sister sees. But yeah, I told her about all of the symptoms that I was having, and she was like, all right, well, we're gonna order an external sonogram, an internal sonogram, some blood work, and if all of that comes back negative, we're going to set you up for surgery. So something that's not commonly known about endometriosis is that you have to undergo a surgery to find out if that's something that you have. It doesn't show up on your blood test. It doesn't show up in sonograms or ultrasounds. So you have to go get surgery to see if that's what it is. So she ordered the sonogram and ultrasound and whatever to make sure that it wasn't something else. And when they went in for my sonogram, they found a cyst on my left ovary. And so she said, okay, well, I didn't find any endometriosis. Do you still want the surgery? And, you know, all of these years of fighting kind of made me want to push for the surgery because I knew that it wasn't something that was showing up on any test, but I knew that it was something I was feeling, and I knew that it wasn't in my head. And, you know, I said, yes, I want the surgery. And so a little bit after that, I was scheduled for my surgery, and I went in completely certain that I was going to get my answer to whatever was going wrong inside of my body, because, you know, if it wasn't endometriosis, then I knew that it wasn't. But if it was, then I knew that I was right. And so I went in for surgery that day. My whole family was there. My boyfriend was there. My boyfriend's grandmother came and was there with me, and that was fantastic. Like my boyfriend's family is so wonderful. But yeah, I went in for surgery that day, and I came out of surgery, and you know, my GYN came to me. She was like, I did find endometriosis in your uterus, and I found that it had spread elsewhere. And so she was like, you were right. And having my doctor tell me that I was right felt like a weight lifted off my shoulders, because all those years of my doctor invalidating my feelings and invalidating, you know, what was happening with my body, and then having my new doctor tell me that I was right, felt amazing. So the moral of the story was to tell you about endometriosis and bring awareness to that, because 1 in 10 women in the United States do suffer from endometriosis, even if it is or is not diagnosed. But I also wanted to say that if you feel that something is wrong with your body, and you know that something is wrong with your body, don't take no for an answer. That's your body. You need to advocate for yourself, because for so long I wasn't properly advocating for myself and properly saying, you know, you need to do this. This is my body. This is my life. Figure it out. So what you're feeling with your body is valid. Don't let anyone tell you that what your body is telling you, the signs that your body is giving you, is wrong. You push for yourself, you advocate for yourself, and you do what's best for your health. So yeah, I just wanted to share my story with you guys about the illness that I suffer from multiple days out of the month, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about advocating for your health. So yeah, this was a really different video from anyone that I've done before. If you guys want to hear other stories about like my health journeys, because I do suffer from fibromyalgia and anxiety and depression. So if you guys want me to talk on those subjects, definitely let me know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If you liked it, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. That would really help me grow. But yeah, until the next video, just be the best person you can be. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.